Hi, this is Dr. Annie Gomes, welcoming you for this session. I'm dealing with the paper Molecular Biology and Genetic Engineering. The name of my unit is Applications of Genetic Engineering, and name of the module is Genetically Engineered Products, Human Growth Hormone, and Humulin, that is human insulin, and superweeds. In the outline, you will see the origin, structure, and function of human growth hormone and human insulin, mechanism of action and production of human growth hormone and human insulin by recombinant DNA technology, applications, advantages, and limitations of human growth hormone and human insulin, definition, production, and advantages of superweeds. At the end of the session, you should be able to describe the structure and function of human growth hormone and human insulin. Compare the mechanism of action of human growth hormone, human insulin, and superweeds. Understand the production of human growth hormone, human insulin, and superweeds by recombinant DNA technology. Summarize the advantages and limitations of human growth hormone, human insulin, and superweeds. To start with, we have recombinant human growth hormone. This human growth hormone is also called as somatotropin. It consists of 191 amino acids. It is secreted by the anterior pituitary gland produced by hormone ghrelin. Its molecular weight is 22,124 daltons. It helps in growth and metabolism of the body. How does it act? The mechanism of action of human growth hormone. Once it is secreted by anterior pituitary gland, it acts on liver and other tissues. It produces IGF-1, that is insulin type growth factor 1. It is a hormone and it helps in bone growth and muscle growth. What is the structure of human growth hormone? As you can see in the figure, it has got a structure which is like concentric rings of small rounded structures. These rounded structures are amino acids. Okay, so there are 191 amino acids. There is carboxyl group at one end and there is amino group at the other end of the structure. There are disulfide bonds which connect the amino acid chains, and these disulfide bonds help to maintain the structure of the growth hormone. How do we produce a human growth hormone by recombinant DNA technology? Here we have the diagram of a pituitary gland from which we are going to extract the DNA for human growth hormone. And you can see it has got signal peptide which is consisting of 26 amino acids, then an attached segment of another 24 amino acids, and still another 141 amino acids to the DNA. Seeing the structure, DNA of this human growth hormone is subjected to transcription. Okay, transcription will produce messenger RNA. Messenger RNA will synthesize the cDNA by reverse transcriptase process, and this cDNA is then subjected to restriction endonuclease ECOR1. Restriction endonuclease ECOR1 cuts the fragment DNA into two fragments of 26A, 24A, that is 50 amino acids, and 141 amino acids. Further, once the signal peptide of 26AA, that is 26 amino acids, is separated, it also takes along with it 24 amino acid fragment as well. So we got to synthesize chemically another synthetic gene of 24 amino acids and ligate it with 141 amino acids fragment with the help of T4 DNA ligase. By doing so, we get processed recombinant cDNA for human growth hormone. This fragment is then genetically engineered with the help of a plasmid taken from E. coli. You take the plasmid and you cut it, you add the fragment of interest, that is of human growth hormone, and ligate it again with DNA ligase, reinsert it in E. coli back again. This reinserted E. coli cells with a recombinant plasmid vector is cultured and fermented. Once it is cultured and fermented, there is production of human growth hormone, which is then extracted. What are the applications of human growth hormone? This growth hormone is used in deficiency treatments. It is also used as an athletic supplement. It is used in all the growth deficiency diseases, like Turner syndrome and chronic renal problems. It is used in renal carcinoma treatment, bovine somatropin to increase milk production in lactating cows. What are the advantages? It's time conserving, it's cost effective, cheap, more copies can be made due to recombinant DNA technology, but they do have some limitations which result in transformation of diseases when you take them. There can be some bone and heart problems, fatigue, normal fatigue in human beings, muscle weakness, and risk of type 1 diabetes. The next hormone for us is human insulin. As you can see in the structure, human insulin is consisting of two chains, chain A, chain B. Their chain A is again made up of 30 amino acids, chain A is made up of 21 amino acids. They are also bound by disulfide bonds. Human insulin production by genetic engineering. Now, insulin is a hormone produced by beta cells of islets of Langerhans of pancreas. It was first discovered by Sir Edward while studying islets of Langerhans. Pancreas is a mixed gland situated transversely across the upper abdomen behind the stomach and spleen. Insulin is a peptide hormone which is produced by pancreas and is a central regulator for carbohydrate and fat metabolism in the body. The structure of human insulin, as I've already shown before, it consists of two chains, chain A, chain B. Chain A, 21 amino acids, chain B is 30 amino acids, and its molecular weight is 5808 Daltons. It is a dimer, as I've already said, and it was first described by Frederick Sanger in 1954. Insulin is produced inside the pancreas by the beta cells. The beta cells will first produce a pre-proinsulin, which is 109 amino acids long polypeptide. Now, this 109 amino acids polypeptide, 23 amino acids are known as signal molecules, which allow the pre-proinsulin to pass through the cell membrane. Once it enters the cell, the pre-proinsulin is called as proinsulin, and it is now only 86 amino acids, but it is still inactive. In order to the proinsulin to become active, we have the proteolytic enzymes that cut and expose the active sites of proinsulin, converting it into 51 amino acids active insulin. What are the basic steps involved in making recombinant DNA technology insulin production effective? Okay, we need to have a suitable vector, which is a plasmid isolated from E. coli cells, and then it is cut by restriction endonuclease enzymes. The gene of interest, that is the insulin gene, from beta cells is inserted into the cut plasmid. The plasmid and gene of interest are recombined together by DNA ligase enzyme, and this recombined plasmid is inserted into a suitable host cell, E. coli back again, and this recombined host cell is cultured and again fermented to produce insulin. These are the basic steps you can also see in this picture. You have E. coli cell, human cell, and then you have the gene for insulin, restriction enzymes, cut the plasmid, then DNA ligase is ligated, it is reinserted into the E. coli cell, into the fermenter to help multiplication and production of human insulin, which we also say as humulin. What are the applications? Applications of human insulin is used to control blood sugar in people who have type 1 diabetes and also in people who have type 2 diabetes. It is a class of medications called hormones. Human insulin is used to take the place of insulin that is normally produced by the body. There are some limitations. That may cause some side effects like redness, swelling, itching at the injection site, change in the feel of your skin. Skin becomes thickened or a little depression in the skin where there is fat breakdown. There could be weight gain and there could be also problems of constipation. Some serious side effects are also observed in some people, that there is a rash, itching over the whole body, shortness of breath, wheezing, dizziness, blurred vision, fast heartbeats, sweating, there is difficulty in breathing and swallowing, weaknesses, muscle cramps, abdominal heartbeat change, large weight gain in short period of time, swelling of the arms, hands, feet, ankles, or even lower legs. Coming to superweeds. Now, we all know weeds are unwanted, useless plants that grow among the other crops. They take light, nutrition, and compete with the crop plants and also harbor some more pathogens. So, it is estimated that world's crop yield is reduced by 10 to 15% due to the presence of weeds. To tackle the problem of weeds, modern agriculture has developed a large, wide range of weed killers, which we call them as herbicides. Herbicides are broad spectrum as they can kill a wide range of weeds. We have a broad spectrum herbicide, which is called as glyphosate, which is effectively used against many weeds. This is used because it is less toxic to animals and is rapidly degraded in the soil and has got a very short lifespan. What is the mechanism of action of glyphosate? It is capable of killing weeds, that is plants, in very low concentrations. It is rapidly transported to the growing tissue of these weeds, and it is a competitive inhibitor of EPSPS, which is a key enzyme for shikimic acid pathway. Now, shikimic acid pathway is a pathway that results in the formation of amino acids, phenols, and metabolites of the plant in order to grow. This glyphosate binds with EPSPS and blocks the metabolism. Thus, biosynthesis of amino acids and other products are inhibited. So, cell division and plant growth will be blocked. So, shikimic acid pathway does not occur in animals, so it is not toxic and can be used in the fields where the weeds grow. Now, what is the strategy to develop this herbicide resistant crops? Now, since we use herbicides along with the crops, so crops also have the tendency to die. So the basic idea in superweeds is to prepare genetically modified crops which will resist herbicides and still grow when the other weeds get killed. Okay, so there are three strategies. One is overexpression of EPSPS gene, use of mutant EPSPS gene, and detoxification of herbicide by a foreign gene. So these three attributes are taken from three different genes and are cloned together and introduced in genetically modified crops, which we call as superweeds. Now, the first one, overexpression of EPSPS gene. This overexpression gene is found in Petunia plant and was isolated from there, transferred into a bacterium, and then introduced into other plants. Then, mutant EPSPS gene is found in S. typhimurium, that is also isolated and transferred into a plant. Then there is a gene for detoxification of glyphosate. This usually soil microorganisms possess this, which possess enzyme glyphosate oxidase that will convert glyphosate to glyoxylate. This gene was isolated from Acrobacterium anthropi and was introduced in crop plants. Example, oil seed, rape seeds, which we call. Okay. Now, these three combined genes are combined in a single genetically modified crop which are tolerant to herbicides. In this picture, you can see the genetically modified crop and a weed. Then there is a spray of herbicide and the weed gets killed, whereas the crop survives. So, this is the concept of superweeds, which is used in genetic engineering. These are some of the references which you can refer to. Additional references are also here. Okay. Thank you and hope you are benefited from this module.